am a soccer-playing, hockey-liking kind of girl. I like to play with my brother, play the Wii, and play with my dog.
She's a regular kid. She goes to school, comes home from school, homework, soccer. That's one of her favorite things to do. She loves to play soccer. And she likes to play soccer year-round, so she does the indoor and the outdoor. She stays active and just loves to go. Libby is a wonderful daughter, a great inspiration for a lot of people. It doesn't matter what's going on with her. If she's not feeling well, if she's feeling great, she's the happiest person ever.
This third grader at Cityview Elementary never asked to be anything other than just a regular kid. Thriving and doing well in school, the world seemed to be at Libby's feet. But the new year would bring all new challenges.
Libby got sick January 3rd.
I told my teacher that I had a rash, and then later I found it spreading to the lower part of my legs because it was at the top.
Come home from school with a rash on her legs. She had told me that she had seen the rash earlier during the day, and as the day went on, the rash was spreading down her legs. It went from her thighs, down her knees to her ankles. When I first looked at them, it kind of looked like mosquito bites or something, but the way they were spreading, I was concerned. So I made an appointment and took her to the doctor's office. They said they weren't sure what it was. They had to do some blood work and stuff, and we would find out the next day. Well, by that night, her little sores turned into really big sores all the way down her legs, around her ankles and her feet were really swollen and bruised looking. So I had taken her to United Regional, to the emergency room, and that's where they did a bunch of blood work, checked everything, and they told me about this HSP, and they believed that's what she had.
Libby's physicians diagnosed her with Henoch-Schönlein purpura. HSP, as it's commonly called, affects the small vessels in the skin. It causes a rash, pain in the abdomen, joint inflammation, and sometimes affects the kidneys as well. Most common in children, HSP affects everyone a little differently, but most of the time HSP goes away on its own in about 4 to 6 weeks. Admitted to United Regional's pediatric unit, Libby spent the next few days in the hospital.
It was scary because I've never been in the hospital before.
We didn't realize that, as the doctors put it, she has the worst case they'd ever seen. It didn't go away in 4 to 6 weeks. It just kept getting worse and worse and worse. And she kept getting sicker, swelling more and more pain. For her care, they put us on an airplane and shipped us to Cook's. She was swollen everywhere, from her hands, her feet, her face. And she just went almost 2 weeks there with not eating. She lost so much weight. Her sores on her skin had started coming out of the skin where wound care had to see her. And she even had the HSP in her mouth, her eyes, her nose. So everything you've seen on the outside of her skin, basically they explained to me, was also on the inside. I was very scared because Libby is my daughter. That's my baby, you know. We've been through a lot together, and, you know, to think in your mind that in the beginning it looked like just a rash to something that was so serious, those thoughts went through my mind many times. You know, am I going to lose my child? And I got really scared. You know, that she's my baby.
Libby's HSP was taking an unexpected turn for the worse, and the family made the trip to Fort Worth for Libby's care. Separated from her father and brother, Libby and her mother stayed at Cook Children's for treatment. Almost 3 weeks later, they finally came home.
When we came home from Cook's, she was getting a little better, and we thought that, you know, we were getting on the healing end of this, and then she started getting really sick again. So I had taken her back to United Regional and was really concerned about getting shipped back to Cook's and this and that. But they transferred us upstairs to the PD floor, and with the care of her doctor and the care of the pediatric nurses on the floor, their experience, and you know, they had her with the best people that, you know, had good experience. We were able to stay here. We didn't have to get shipped back there.
Only a week after returning from Fort Worth, Libby found herself back in the hospital for a 4-week stay. But this time she was much closer to home.
We had rough times. We had times when we thought, you know, okay, today we might get shipped away, but they had all the resources, and they would call people and they would get her what she needed, and that way we could stay together as a family and do the correct treatment that we needed. And they were wonderful. All the nurses were great. They were attentive to Libby's care. They were always like, what does Libby need? In our care too, what do y'all need? You know, if it was anything from a blanket to we needed help with a chaplain called one night at midnight, you know, and you know, I'd asked for the chaplain to call, and they didn't care if it was midnight. They called, you know. It didn't matter. They just took care of us, and it feels like they feel like another family now. It feels like, you know, they're more than just friends. They've taken care of Libby. They know her. They know us personally, and they've taken care of all of us.
Like so many children before her, Libby Brooks and her family entered United Regional at one of the scariest times in their lives, looking for answers, praying for a cure. Children's Miracle Network helped to make treatment at United Regional possible by providing the funds to purchase equipment that Libby needs in order to treat her HSP.
I don't know how to explain the generosity of Children's Miracle Network and the people that donate there. All the equipment that we used, from the bed that, you know, moved around to the IV things that she uses for her infusions, all the medicine that she needed to help her gain her weight back. If it wasn't for the Children's Miracle Network, we wouldn't have all this stuff. We would have to get shipped away and be a strain on the family and use other people's stuff. Everything that the Children's Miracle Network has donated to the hospital has been a blessing.
It makes a difference a lot, because my dad had to stay down here when we were at Cook's. Now we all get to be together down here.
This is the second time that the Children's Miracle Network has been really great to us, because when Libby was 3 weeks old, she had RSV, and she spent 3 weeks in the hospital, and it was the same care. All the monitors she needed, all her breathing equipment, everything that she needed was provided by the Children's Miracle Network.
Libby is still dealing with HSP. It has been 5 months since she and her family began this journey. Some days are good ones. On the ones that aren't so good, the Brooks family knows that the medical staff at United Regional, their extended family, will be here for them. Donations to Children's Miracle Network ensures it.
Today, my rash HSP is not bothering me, it's not itching, and my feet aren't swollen. Today is a good day.